Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Broadband Universe brought to you by Lit Communities. I'm Craig Corbett. It is a pleasure to welcome back my guest today, the Chief Executive Officer of the Pacific Telecommunications Council, Mr. Brian Moon. Brian, welcome back to the Broadband Universe.
Craig, great to be here. Great to see you. A big aloha from Honolulu again.
Indeed, it's been a year, and the first time that we visited, it was to preview PTC 23.
Right.
That was a record-setting event. Just looking back at the numbers, better than 8,100 attendees from the industry, nearly 2,000 senior industry executives, and more than 230 speakers. That is a phenomenal event. Last year, I'm sure this year, even bigger.
It's looking to be another record-breaking event. The industry is excited. Our attendees, our members are excited. And I think we've seen, just from a industry standpoint for the past year, I think a lot of meetings and events and conferences have had great attendance. And I think we are just fortunate enough to start off the beginning of a new year, but we're also kind of at the tail end of 2023 as well, depending on how you look at it. But we're seeing a lot of positive feedback, a lot of terrific momentum on everyone being excited to meet together in Honolulu again. And it's looking again to be a really positive year for PTC and the annual conference. And we expect the attendance to be very strong.
I love the way that you put it in the on the website. PTC is where business gets done. Digital infrastructure, telecommunications, and ICT, information and communications technology. And you also talk about the remarkable transformations. This is an unbelievable time in this industry, and so exciting to know that when you look at the phenomenal array of speakers that you have lined up, this is a great learning opportunity for everyone that will be in attendance.
That is a really important point, and I'm glad you brought that up, Craig, because when we look at a year ago, we knew that the annual conference is important for lots of people, and we know it's one of the most important business meetings of the year, in addition to all the networking that takes place as well. It is a business conference. It's a business meeting conference. But when we look back at some of the feedback from our attendees who came, they said, the atmosphere obviously is terrific. Here are some things you may want to consider tweaking. And what you first and foremost see with the program is what we're really excited about. And that was completely intentional and strategic in terms of bringing the industry titans, the industry celebrities, the tech titans, however you want to call them. But these are the folks on the C-suite that everyone wants to see and hear from. And so when you look at the program this year, it's been completely revamped. And so when you take a look at center stage, you'll notice that there isn't a standalone speaker presenting a keynote. We have a panel sessions on Monday and Tuesday morning of the conference of several CEOs and senior leadership presenting together, because intentionally we want people to come together and see these leaders all at once, right? In one particular location. So the center stage has been completely revamped. You're going to see all these tech titans together, all in one room, and all these fantastic sessions speaking about relevant topics, right? We're not talking about, it's not self-serving, it's not commercials anymore. These are titans looking at what the trends are in the industry. For the CEO session, it's what their vision is going to be now in the post-pandemic period and what they're looking forward to in 2024, 2025. And in addition to the center stage sessions, we carried that over to the topical sessions as well in the afternoon. And so the topical sessions are also very targeted in terms of the topics that the business community is going to be focusing on. So we're focusing on AI, regulatory, fiber. Here's another exciting piece. We're working with the Mobile Ecosystem Forum for the first time. We're partnering with that terrific organization, Dario Betti and his team. They are running an entire mobile focus session Sunday afternoon. So all in all, it's revamped intentionally, strategically. And in addition to the really important meetings that are taking place, the content is going to be out of this world at the conference this year.
I think that might be an understatement. And you talked about the center stage and what a focus that you and the team at PTC have placed on that. I'd love to go through the primary topics that you have for those center stage conversations. and one of them being, and you referred to AI a moment ago, but the first one being video and AI catalysts for industry transformation. And we are seeing it each and every day. That obviously is something that will be well attended and of extreme importance. Talk about that if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking at center stage, I would argue that it's the strongest lineup of speakers that we've had in recent years for the annual conference. And we're really extremely excited. I mean, when you look at Tech Titans, I want to make sure I don't forget anyone. You look at Mark Ganzi, you look at Kerry Gilder, Andy Power, Jan Vesley, Rory Sasko, Mark Halpinger. I mean, and the list goes on, right? Everyone can go to the website ptc.org to look at the list because it's updated every single day. But if you just look at the top three, top five names that we just mentioned there, the massive deals that they were all a part of this year, right? I mean, are transforming the industry, and it's setting a pace for 2024 in the future. And again, we're excited that they're going to be speaking about that, how they got to those opportunities to create those deals and execute them, and then what happens afterwards, right? And so it's remarkable. And if you can see the excitement I'm having, it's real because we're excited to bring them all together in a room. We're obviously very excited that they're going to be part of the conference in an official way, but it's the first opportunity that our attendees, our members are going to be able to see and hear from them in person all together in one space in 1 week.
So exciting. The next topic that I wanted to get your input on when we talk about CEOs dealing with challenging times, the strategic navigation amid uncertainty. And that's something that so many leaders have to deal with on a regular basis. Very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we've done in inviting these speakers that they've all gone through it, right? All of these CEOs had to go through the pandemic, had to reset their businesses, look at new directions, and now it's the period of recovery, opportunity, transformation, as we've touched on, and again, I think them also being on stage with each other gives an opportunity to hear insight from these different industries. I know the great thing about PTC is that we get to focus on the entire industry, not just one niche of it. And so we have a great variety of CEOs from these different segments of the industry that can work off of each other, talk about each other, talk about their experience. So there's a terrific variety and different points of view as well.
To that point, one of the numbers that I didn't talk about when looking back at last year's event, 80 plus nations represented at this event. You talk about the importance of PTC, and the next topic for the center stage discussion that I think is so timely, the new Asian opportunity, and how they have been collectively leaders, pioneers in so many aspects of this industry. Talk about the importance there.
Yeah, absolutely, and we certainly will always remember and not forget how PTC was founded. It's a focus on the Pacific Rim, and we will never forget that that's what the organization was founded on. I think very fortunately the industry has evolved, and so has the organization. That our membership itself is over 350 member companies and growing now. Our attendance at the conference now is growing significantly, and it has global representation. And I think that's really important, is that although we will continue to support and concentrate on the Pacific Rim, we now can't forget our global friends and the industry coming to Honolulu. And in terms of the Asia opportunity, that specific session on center stage, again, very interesting, because now all of these companies are looking at where else in the world are there opportunities to conduct business and form those types of partnerships. There's obviously a lot of things happening in certain parts of the world that everyone in the industry is aware of. So outside of those regions, where else can we look to, right? And so that session in particular, again, very exciting, because we're going to be hearing from these CEOs and kind of what their strategy is, right? What's their strategic plan in terms of growth if you can't focus on these kind of one or two companies you've been relying on?
Another of the very timely topics that will be featured in the center stage discussions, infrastructure, and this one in particular, infrastructure builders shaping the digital landscape. And with so much going on, certainly here in North America, with the BEAD opportunity and all of the transformative projects that will be going on there, I could see this as being front and center at PTC 24.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we have recruited some very, very well-known companies because this is such an important topic and one that is also, again, very timely and on many, many people's minds. And so we have folks like Eric Bain from Microsoft, David Coughlin from Subcom, Joe Cava from Google, and Gary Smith, President and CEO from Ciena. And so heavy hitters themselves, obviously doing this on a day-to-day basis in their respective industries and organizations. And they'll be focusing on some of the key topics are going to be, what does the data center and network look like in 10 years, right? Again, look at future forward on what that is and what's what is capacity? I mean, we're looking at
Sure.
social media, we're looking at a data impact, right? Data centers and the impact of all these networks now getting online, new cables being formed. And so we have a really respected group of experts that we're proud to say that are participating in this. And again, from very, very well-known companies that are doing this in their day-to-day lives and their own operations all over the world.
Very exciting. You're watching the Broadband Universe podcast brought to you by Lit Communities. Light up your community. You deserve better internet. My guest today, Mr. Brian Moon, Chief Executive Officer of the Pacific Telecommunications Council. We're talking about PTC 24, the highly anticipated conference. This is the 46th iteration of PTC and their annual meetings. Has to be exciting from your perspective, Brian, to know the tremendous history, the legacy of innovation that has been made reality with PTC. Talk about the enjoyment, both personally and professionally, from that standpoint.
Well, let's talk. We'll start with professionally, but because I think it blends in with the personal aspect, and hopefully the energy that I'm bringing to this conversation and to the organization is a result of the professional standpoint. Um, What's fascinating is that the organization, when it was founded 46 years ago, started as a meeting. It was a meeting of bringing government officials together, bringing academia together, and bringing you know, the community together to make sure that Hawaii and more broadly the Pacific Islands weren't going to be forgotten in this world of connectivity that Richard Barber saw what was happening. And now fast forward to 46 years later, that meeting now becomes one of the most important meetings in the entire industry, where from a strategic location, I call it, Craig, I may have mentioned this before, but I'll repeat it. It's the Davos of digital infrastructure is what I call the PTC's annual conference. And there's a
I
reason
love
for
it.
that. You're bringing in the most important people in the industry for a week of strategic discussion, business and deal making in a geographical location that makes sense for them, because they get to be amongst their peers for a week in a very unique environment where we're not wearing suits. So it kind of lays down that guard. But it's fascinating that looking back 46 years and looking forward to where we are today, the content that we're talking about, what we're talking about in terms of topics, the center stage, the topical sessions that we've talked about. As an organization with PTC, now we're talking about the young professionals, right? We have PTC Beyond, which is an exciting program. It's going into its second year. We have an exciting program for the young professionals because we want to make sure we know who the next generation of these C-suite leaders are going to be. We have exciting partnerships in terms of the Mobile Ecosystem Forum, MEF, telegeography, so submarine cables. So I can keep going and going, but what's fascinating is that from this meeting of this size comes down to this, where almost tens of thousands of people are coming to Honolulu to really focus on, going back to my analogy of the Davos of digital infrastructure, what the future of the industry is going to be. And so it's a really exciting time for PTC. It's a really exciting time for the annual conference. And it's shaping up to be a fantastic event. And I think also for 2024, I shouldn't forget, we are planning some really exciting things. There are going to be a couple of really big surprise announcements that I'll hint at this on your program now. that we're going to announce Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday morning during our breakfast award ceremony. And so please tune in for that. And hopefully the future for PTC looks very, very bright. And so we're excited about all these programs that we're about to launch.
It is phenomenal, and knowing how your leadership has just enhanced that growth, it is amazing to watch the reaction from people that I talked to who've attended that know that it's absolutely a must attend event each and every year, and only growing in importance just for the reasons that you've highlighted. But when you talk about the amazing agenda, the quality that you talked about with respect to the business titans, the tech titans that will be sharing their stories, their knowledge, just an unbelievable opportunity. There's still time for those who have not gotten signed up to join. As we speak, we're roughly a month away from the event, and how best would we find out more about registering for PTC 24?
Thanks, Craig. And so the best and the most up-to-date information right now is going to be on our website, ptc.org. Registration will continue until the conference, and folks can register on site. If they waited till the last minute, that's okay. One important note on the registration, though, and I'm glad you mentioned it, is we want to enhance the experience of attendees. And as a reminder to your audience, PTC is a 501c3. So although we do generate revenue, everything that we generate in terms of revenue is reinvested back into the industry. And one of the other pieces of feedback we received from the last event was that we wanted to make sure that the experience was really well tailored towards those who were doing it officially. There's certainly lots of opportunities, and we want to continue the aloha spirit of welcoming everyone who comes to Honolulu for the annual conference. So registration is extremely important. I mentioned that because there will be official areas for the annual conference, which will only be accessible by registered attendees. One of those areas I should actually mention is the Tapa Bar. If you've ever attended the annual conference, the Tapa Bar is a central meeting place, but PTC is managing that officially for the first time on Monday and Tuesday. And whether you're reserving a table at Tapa Bar or you're an invited guest, registration will be required. In addition to that, the PTC Hub, where the exhibits are, will also require registration. And then center stage, topical sessions, all the educational program will require registration. So please register, ptc.org. We're also excited about another communication channel through our mobile app. That's one we've invested in a lot of resources in this year. That's also another place, central source of information for all the updates on schedules, agendas, messaging, networking, other attendees that are going to be there. So excited about that tool and our attendees using that.
Just can't wait to get there and be able to experience it in person. So excited to have been able to share this preview with you. Congratulations again on all the work that's gone into setting the stage for an unbelievable event coming up in January.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Craig. Always good to see you.
Indeed, and thanks so much. On behalf of Brian, thanks for letting us be a part of your day. We'll see you next time right here on the Broadband Universe. So long, everyone.